Tell the people how you got scammed by
I did not get scammed.
almost scammed by Navy Federal because everybody loves Navy Federal right now. They giving out the biggest credit limits and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of gurus talking about that. But tell the people what happened.
Listen, I was in my bed. Maybe it was last week or the week before, whenever.
It was last week.
Last week. In my bed, I saw my phone. My phone was ringing and it said Navy Federal. So I'm like, Navy Federal calling me at 9 p.m. or 9:30. So I answered. The guy was like, this is whatever his name is from Navy Federal. I'm calling to inform you that we saw some fraudulent activities that we noticed investigating, and it's coming out of Chicago. And do you know a person named whatever
It was like Michael
Edwards or something? And he tried to do 3 transactions through Zelle. One is for $500, one's for $200, and one is for $100. I'm like, no, I don't know a Michael Edwards. So he was like, okay, we're gonna go in and we're gonna try to put in a claim for start a claim to, I guess, well, he says to start over your account or block these people from trying to go into your account. So in order for us to do that, I'm going to send you a 6-digit code so I could access your account knowing that we're talking to the right person, so I can go in and start the claim and then reset your password so these people don't have access to your account. So I'm like, okay. He's saying the card that was compromised, he said the last 4 digits of the card, which was correct. And I'm like, okay. He asked me if I want, what address do I want? If I want the card to be sent to, he said my home address, which was correct. All I said was, yes, that's where I would want the new card to be mailed to. He said, okay. He went in, he said, put me on hold, hear the nice music playing. The only thing was his voice was so annoying to me.
People, all I hear, I'm over there working, at my desk, and all I hear is, mm-hmm, yeah, yes, mm-hmm, okay, mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, mm-hmm, uh-huh, mm-hmm, okay, mm-hmm, yes, mm-hmm. I'm like, what the hell kind of code? Who she got on the phone over there? You know those people that be like, me too.
Mm-hmm. I love you.
Me too. He like, what? So I'm like, what? My ears perked up. I'm looking over there like, what's going on? She put it on speaker. I hear the whole music. I'm like, okay. And then she comes back and he's talking to the guy.
Okay, he's talking to me and he's saying, okay, they put in the claim for the $500. There's going to be another code that's going to be sent. First, when he said he was going to send me the code for him to be able to get in my account, he said he asked me how did I want it, if I want email or to my phone number. And I told him a text. He said email or text. I said a text. So we were waiting for a little while. The text didn't come in. So I said I didn't get it. He was like, okay, let's try. Do you want to try your email? I said, yes. He said, okay. As soon as he said that, the email popped up. He did not ask me for my email or my phone number. The email popped up and I gave him the 6-digit code. He said, okay, he's going in again because now that's the first time. The second time he said there's going to be another one that I guess to authorize the claim for that money to be returned to my account. So he said it's another code. He sent the code. I got it, the 6-digit. Went in. He did that. While I was on hold, for whatever reason, I just felt uneasy, just didn't feel good. So at the time, I'm on the phone and I went on the app. I went on to try to sign into my account to see if money was already taken out or what was going on. When I did that, it said I was locked out. What? Now I'm shocked because I'm like, okay, he told me that he would have to go in and reset my password, but he'll send me a temporary password. By this time, I'm still on hold. Something just wasn't sitting right in my spirit. All of a sudden, I went to my email and I saw it say, your password was reset. If you were the one that reset this password, please give us a call. While I'm on hold, I hung up the phone. My husband
click. I'm just like, what are you doing? He was going to do whatever he got to do. Because all I'm thinking now is, it's compromised. We got to take care of this like right away. You don't want them accessing and snatching out thousands of dollars out your account or whatever.
So I hung up the phone and he was like, why did you do that? I said, I just don't feel right. It don't feel right. Like, and then I look and I saw the email saying the password was reset. So I said, let me call the number.
She didn't tell me that. She was like, let's call.
The number that they say. I think at the time I was saying to you.
You said, let's call Navy. I was like, call Navy Federal directly. And that way you know, and talk to the fraud department. So when she Googled the number for Navy Federal.
No, it was on the email that he sent. Okay, the same email that was saying if I did not reset my password to call that number. So
and that's the same number he was calling from. It was showing on the caller ID that that's the same number he was calling from. So I'm like, okay, well, he was calling from that number too.
So I called and ended up on hold, and he called me back. So at this time, I was like, I don't want to talk to him because I just feel it just don't feel right. Like I don't want to talk to him. And Paul said,
I'm like,
my husband said,
well, then merge the two calls.
He said, merge the call.
Let the other people hear, because you called directly, and let them hear, buddy. And
he said, merge the call. So when I answer him, the other call hanged up for whatever reason. The real Navy Federal phone call ended, and I was talking to him. So I asked him. I said, "Why did you change my password?" And he said, "Yes. Remember, I told you I would have to change your password. I would have to go in and try to change the account information and stuff so those people can't get back into the account. And after that's done, then I will send you the temporary pass code where you can go in and make the password that only you have access to." So at that time, now I'm like, okay. But still, it wasn't sitting good with me because I'm like, I don't know. There's just something that's just telling me that this is not right. This is not right. So I hang up on him again and call back the number, Navy Federal. The same number he's calling me from, I'm calling back myself. So when I called it, he continued to call and somebody answered, Navy Federal. Mm-hmm. He continued to call. I was trying to merge so the real person or the Navy Federal number, the Navy Federal that I called could hear their other person that are impersonator talking to me. But for whatever reason, I could not merge. You could not merge. And I was telling them, the Navy Federal representative, that somebody called me, was telling me that my account was compromised and there was 3 transactions. Ended up that guy was saying, no, they did not see anything. Nobody tried anything. They have not seen any account, any phone or any device try to sign into my account. They saw that there was 2 attempts for password reset, and that was about it. So while I was talking to Navy Federal, I start feeling like it was the guy, because the guy sounds just like the other one, where the real Navy Federal was asking me more questions for more things. They asked me for my phone number, what number I want to send the 5-digit. It wasn't a 6-digit code they sent me like the scammer did. Navy Federal themselves say 5-digit. The guy before, the scammer, said 6-digit code. So he asked me what number did I want to, what is my phone number? So now I'm getting skeptical, like, oh my God, now you're asking. He's like, I know, like.
I know this is difficult because, again, he's probably asked this and you just went through this, and I was trying to reassure her because I'm like, well, you called these people this time and we know that that's the right number, and XYZ, because I Googled the number as well. I've got a Navy Federal. I Googled it and checked mine,
all
and that's
the
the right
email
number.
that
So
all the email that I got from this guy was coming from Navy Federal. If you click on any of the link that say Navy Federal, it took you to Navy Federal. What?
they even asked you, did you give them the code? And you said yes. And they're like,
Yes.
okay. So then they were working double time because they knew now definitely somebody's trying to compromise it. So they were on the back end trying to reset everything.
But Navy Federal themselves was asking me for my home address. They were asking me for things that the scammer didn't ask me for, which I was almost like more comfortable with the scammer just because he told me my address, like my home address. He had that right there. He know my last 4 digits of my credit card and also my email address. I guess he had my phone number, and I didn't give him any of this information. But long story short,
That's go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's how they kind of lull you into a false sense of security. Because again, if you've ever been on one of those financial institution conversations, they want you to verify everything because they want to verify who
that is
you
the right person
are on the other end, versus this guy trying to win you over to show you
making you
I'm
comfortable
not
that
scamming you, even though they are. So I know are you still at this address? And I've got this number listed. I've got this email. They're trying to win you
make
over
you
by
comfortable.
telling you I've got all this stuff. So rest assured, I'm the good guy. We're going to deal with those other people. Whereas, again, when we got off the call, I was like, you know what? Anytime I do call my financial institution, I've got to verify this. And I'm like, well, it could be, so even if I forgot sometimes, I'm like, well, I don't know if I gave them the business address or my home address or something like that. So I'm like, well, which address do you have? They're like, sir, I can't tell you. You've got to tell me. Which, go ahead and shoot with one of them. And then you got to go from there. So just, again, that whole exchange and experience reminded me that always be aware of your surroundings, and women's intuition is for real, for real. So follow your guts, ladies, because I mean, I was even upset in the beginning, like, why'd you hang up on him? He's trying to help you stop this fraud. So if she didn't follow her gut or what she was feeling, she put it on speaker because the guy was
his voice,
the way he was talking,
something was irritated me about him.
So she's like, listen to his voice. It just doesn't even sound professional or right. And I'm like, and in my head, I'm just like, well,
it wasn't that he didn't sound professional. It was just
didn't sound right.
It was just a like, and maybe
you said it was annoying, and I was like, well, nowadays they hire a lot of people and they work from home, so
his voice was just so like there was something that was just irritated me about him.
It was the blood of Jesus.
It was. I'm telling you, even when I talk about it now, I'm thinking like, how? Because again, he was reassuring me like, this is the reason why I'm doing this. This is that. I think the only reason why he didn't get in my account, he probably did not know my username, and that's how he wasn't able to sign in.
Maybe that was his next question to say, well, I want to verify the username that I have on here, and again, I got to verify.
I would not.
That might have been the next thing. So I don't know, but again, something in you, which is great, gave you that intuition. And when I say this, the next spidey sense was the amount of times he called back and back to back. I think he called like 9 times back to back. Again, trying to get a hold. Hey, we got disconnected. So when she did pick up the phone, yeah, I think we got disconnected. Blah blah blah. Don't worry, I'm still working on it. And then when she hung up again, he had called back to back to back.
While I was
waited
on
a couple
the phone
bit, back to back, and they were like, "Don't answer it. We're dealing with it." But I mean, when you look at the caller ID, it had a lot of times on there, and I was just like, "Okay, I've gotten disconnected from a financial institution before, and yes, they did call me back, but I've never had a financial institution." If I hung up on them and was like, I don't want to do it, call me back to back. They just call that one time, leave a message, and that was it. But this guy just kept calling over and over this late at night. So I'm just like, yeah, that also let me further know something ain't right here. So,
but I'm telling you, these scammers are getting good. They're getting really good. So you have
he's definitely scammer management. He's a trainer. He's probably intermediate almost expert level, because again, there was a few things he messed up on, which kind of gave her the spidey sense. And I was just talking about it with her right before we started. I was like, if he played his cards right and preemptively told her exactly everything the way that it's going to happen.
He told
like
me,
you're going to get an email. It's going to say, if you did it up, don't
yeah,
worry.
if
That's
he
just
had done
me.
that, he
Give me the
told me,
code and such and such. I've got to go in and I'm going to reset your information. It's
and
going to
then
lock you out. So if you check your online, it's going to show that you're locked out temporarily. I'm going to disable that. You'll get the temporary. So if he knew and gave her those little steps along the way, like the breadcrumbs, and those started happening, hey, the guy told me this was going to happen. Okay, again, you got my guard down. But he didn't preemptively give her all those steps. So when she saw the email saying, if you didn't request this, call us. That
bottom,
I've never seen that. When I've
bottom,
had a
if ever they're telling you that your account is compromised, I guess you can tell them thank you and go ahead
hang up and call them directly. Call the
so
institution.
you know that
Find it on the back of your credit card or go on the website or something and find that number and go there. Because even when you were telling the real Navy Federal what was going on and how his number showed up just like this number, they're like, yeah, they use a spoof system, because there is. And I was telling her, I was like, there's a spoofing system where you could almost make your phone, make the caller ID look like anywhere, any number, any name of a company, you know, and people would think. And now with this AI going around where you can do voice recognition, I mean, it could almost sound like the White House calling you and the president on the other line just by using AI. So just be very cautious, be skeptical. Like she said, I guess the easiest thing to probably do,
make the phone call
hang
yourself
up and call them back. Because again, even if you hang up and call them back, you're going to get to that. You can go to the customer service fraud department or whatever, and handle it that way. And they can either reassure you, but in the safeguard, if somebody was trying to get at you, I would tell them in the fraud department, even if they don't see anything, go ahead, cancel your cards and send you new ones just in case. And you would go in on your own and maybe reset your passwords and stuff like that. So
yeah, that's it with Navy Federal.
So that's how she almost got scammed by Navy Federal.
Thanks to my intuition and God. Let's talk about it.
Scenario. Couple has a daughter. They break up. Dad is dating someone new. During her time with dad, the daughter's hair is a mess. So the new lady does the girl's hair. Girl returns home and mom is livid, fighting mad. Who is wrong in this situation? Explain your answer and show your work, as the teachers would say.
Show your work. You want to go first?
You could start.
I'm always out on the limb. So, again, it was nice of the new girlfriend or new lady, whatever they want to call it, new lady. That is very considerate and nice for her to do that. But it has to be a mutual understanding between the two ladies. Again, we don't know where their relationship is. Maybe they're not friends. She don't know who she is, and
this implies like someone new. So I don't think they would know each other. So you would still say that if they don't know each other, you would still feel that?
I'll be like, I don't know this person. I don't know what she's putting in my daughter's hair. I don't know if I would want her to do my daughter's hair. So the baby father.
So let's put that in the same situation. Put that in context. If your daughter was at, her dad.
If my daughter was at her dad's house and it's somebody that I have no clue about, and she did her hair, I would have questions like, who is this person? Like, why did she do it? She felt like I wasn't doing my job, or, what was the reason?
But if her hair was messy,
I feel like you should have called me and let me know, like, I have this friend that want to do Destiny's hair. Is it okay? It's understanding and, communication.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to go through, because now that I remember it, I'm going to read you guys the poll answers from that. Because I think I'm a little of the other realm with it. It's not as bad for me, per se, with that situation. Let's see here.
I feel like communication is the key. Because again, if you
Always.
don't let somebody know, like, oh, this person, Keisha is doing Destiny's hair, is that okay? And 9 times out of 10, well, for me, let me talk for myself, I would have been like, yeah, sure. Like, does she know how to do hair good? Or I hope she don't do it tight. Make sure she don't do it too tight. Or
That is key. That makes sense. So
so it's
that's what it says
communication.
here. But it says, long as she, here's what, these are the I guess the opinions or the poll votes and comments. Long as she didn't cut or perm the girl's hair, the mom is wrong because why? Uh, the next one says, why was the baby's hair a mess in the first place? And then, I'd rather someone care for mine than to not. The next comment was, the main thing she should be mad about is not giving the okay to have her around, have the other young
That
lady
makes
around
no
her
sense.
child.
Honestly, I don't feel like that. It's communication. If you communicate with me that I'm going to have this person to do that, then to surprise me. And what if I have plans that day to get her hair done or the next day to get her hair done and already put deposit down?
The dad wrong, should have sat the women down to establish boundaries and expectations. The next comment says, baby mama is foul, not about hair. Reminder that what she won't do, another woman will. So somebody's basically saying that it's almost like a reminder, since you wouldn't do the kid's hair, somebody else would do it, or since you're not loving that man, somebody else would. Somebody else said, new lady owns a hair salon. He took daughter to get hair done. What's the issue? Mom shouldn't send baby over to dad without hair done.
All of these things that they are saying, it's almost like,
and I don't agree with that part. I don't agree with mom shouldn't, because again, as a parent, you're jointly parenting children. It's not just one person's responsibility over the other one. I remember having a mutual friend that went through a divorce, or, well, they weren't even divorced, I think, but she had a child's father, and she would send the kid over there, and it's almost like she had to pack everything for the child. Diapers, snacks, foods. Like, I'm like, dude, you're sending sending the child to that parent's house. Like, they should be responsible enough to have their own stuff.
Sometimes you want that child to be comfortable, and
that's part of you now parenting. I would say I would rather parent the other parent and say, look, hey, when they're with you, these are the diapers that we wear. This is the that. But make sure you get some at your own house. It's not one parent's responsibility over the other to send the child over there with everything it needs to survive for 2 days or a week when it's another parent. Like, you should be responsible enough to have everything. This is, trying to get me in trouble. Anyway, but in this situation, which again, that's enabling. That's enabling and not allowing somebody to step up, and you get the behavior that you're establishing, that behavior, and you can't be upset about it. But I would say, as a parent of children that jointly have the kids with me, they're with me 50% of the time. The first thing I did, I was so proud about it. When I got my own place and everything, the first thing I did was get furniture for them and have them involved in picking out furniture and helping to design their bedroom and this, that, and the other. Get separate set of clothes, a whole new wardrobe or whatever, because you don't want them just toting clothes back and forth like they living out of bags or something. So again, but I digress on that. Back to this subject. At the end of the day, I think when I try to put myself in the situation, like my son Kyle, he's probably been to the barber one time in his life. Thanks, Uncle Dave. I was going to hang my hat on that
How did you feel?
He's never been to the barber because I cut his hair since he was a baby. His first haircut till now. I felt kind of cheated. I felt some type of way, like, what? I had just given him a haircut like before he left or whatever. But I guess Uncle Dave doing a good gesture took all the kids, all the boys, to go get their haircut. So I didn't mind as much when I saw that, because again, it's not coming from a place of malice or anything like that. He didn't know what I was trying to do. So Kyle's had one haircut in his life. So if I said to him from a barber, technically, but maybe more, his mom might say, well, actually, when he was with me, such and such, it might have happened in Trinidad or something like that. So I don't know. But again, when he's around me and when he's up here, every week I'm asking him, you want a haircut? Most times it'll be no, or until he's like, okay, yeah, I'll get one, or I'll just say, nah, you get one today or tomorrow. Pick a day, and he'll say today or tomorrow. So if they went, he was over there and she was like, yeah, uh, some dude's cutting his hair or some other guy, I'd probably feel a little weird because again, what I'm trying to
No,
establish.
her not saying it to you, but when you see him, that's
And then
when
I ask who cut your hair,
he
and then
told
he's like,
you some
oh,
guy,
mommy's friend, Mr. Jim or something like that. Because
You'll
again,
be
it says
mad.
new lady, so I might
You'll be
I might
calling
feel a little
her.
some type of way.
You
I
would
might
be
feel
calling
some type
her
of way.
and going off like, "Who this person you have cutting Kyle's hair? You know I always cut his hair. Yeah, I asked him if he wanted a haircut, but he didn't want one at the time. Yes, I know it looked like he needed a haircut, but he didn't want it.
I'm
then
trying to reflect because I'm just like
you would be
in the
mad.
daughter situation, like in here. Again, when it's not you, it's easier to cast your opinion. Because again, when I'm looking at this situation, I was of one of the comments. As long as they didn't cut that little girl's hair, perm it, or braid it too tight, because that's the next thing in the African American community. When somebody braids the hair way too tight, you lose edges or cause alopecia and stuff like that. But yeah, when you put yourself in those shoes, like if it was one of my own and some random, because to you it's a random. You never met this person, so it's like some random.
You would need communication, and then you could tell the person, yes, go ahead and cut it. Then you could find peace in yourself that you agree to it, or no, I will cut it when he comes home, just because you're trying to do something that say my son never had to go to the barbershop, nobody else ever cut his hair. Communication, regardless. I would be happy to say somebody else helping me doing my daughter's hair, but let me know. Let me know before you do it. Like, do you have any plans to get it done? If not, I could do it for you, or my friend can do it for you or for our daughter, but not just go ahead and just do it and then she come home like, oh, Keisha did my hair. Like, who is Keisha? So yeah.
Daddy's new friend.
So now it's like, what? He have you around this new girl and now she's doing your hair like she So y'all people that's in the comment talking about, oh, the daughter hair shouldn't be messed up in the first place. What world we live in? Your hair be messed up sometimes too. What
I
are
don't
you
agree
talking
with
about?
that comment. Just because again, you're both the parent, so at the end of the day, that child can come any which way. If they're in the house together, there's going to be days when the child's hair's not done right, or the child doesn't want the hair done, or cries or throws a fit. So it is what it is. So don't be like, oh, don't send her to dad's house with XYZ. My daughter or my son could come to the crib, and I'm going to take care of him. If I need to brush her hair, I've done my daughter's hair before. So it is what it is. Don't say, oh, you can't send them over there. Again, that's the notion of you gotta pack everything and send them perfect over there.
To the next parent.
Send good clothes and all that. No. And then when I even hear that, oh, you didn't send any clothes for them to go out? No, go buy some clothes for them to go out. What you mean? Like, that's your child too. You should have a wardrobe at your place, and the other spouse or other parent should have a wardrobe at their place for those children, so that they're not toting clothes back and forth. But that's just our opinion in the matter. So, what say you?
What say you? Let's talk about it. Anywho, we will see you guys next week on another topic.